when it comes to India exposing Pakistan?
Yeah, we still have a couple of important meetings tomorrow, including the Deputy Secretary of State. And we're seeing, in my case, I'm doing a ridiculous number of interviews tomorrow with American media. So it's going to be a very full day. In fact, I have interviews, 8 or 9 already lined up, in addition to a breakfast meeting with a columnist and another conversation. So there's a lot going on still. But broadly speaking, the 5 days have been a real success. It seems immodest for me as a leader of the delegation to say that. But I believe we acquitted ourselves rather well. We had good conversations everywhere. Pretty much every country, our embassies did a very good job of arranging high-level contacts to meet highest levels of government in some countries, the top legislators dealing with these issues, think tanks, media, influential media, press, public, and of course, where possible and appropriate, the diaspora. So we really covered a lot of bases. There were long days. 16, 17, 18-hour days were not untypical. Night flights, 5 nights we spent entirely on planes and travel. But at the end of the day, 2 satisfactions. One is, I believe we got our message across about what happened in Pahalgam and about Operation Sindoor and why it was necessary. And secondly, we used the opportunity to reaffirm the importance of relations with India with each of these countries. Everywhere we went, we talked about terrorism and we talked about our response, but also our interlocutors were keen on discussing larger issues of cooperation with India, Indian involvement in their development, their involvement in our development. It's been a terrific experience. I would say these 2 weeks have been well spent. They have been intense, but at the same time, they've been productive. In many ways, it was revealing of the fact that we had so much of support, so much of solidarity expressed. Perhaps we expected a little more resistance or a little more skepticism. We got tremendous amount of support and sympathy. Some more in private than in public, some also openly expressed. But on the whole, looking back on this, it's an excellent experience. The 8 members of the delegation are leaving feeling they have accomplished something for the nation.
You met with Vice President J.D. Vance.
That's right.
How was your meeting, and did the mediation also come up during the discussion? Because Trump has been claiming for mediation.
No. I mean, let me say the meeting with Vice President Vance was outstanding. It was very good, very clear. I think we made our position amply clear on this question of mediation, and Vice President Vance fully understood our points. The main point is mediation implies an equivalence between 2 parties, and there can be no equivalence between terrorists and their victims, between those who are offering safe havens to terrorists, and on the other one, on our hand, multi-party democracy. On the one hand, a place from which attacks are coming, another country which is in the process of defending itself, exercising its right to self-defense. There can be no equivalence. And therefore, I think that we suggested that that would not be an appropriate way of looking at it. And the message has been very clearly understood by the Vice President, and certainly at other levels of the system, I think the message has been clearly understood.
So while you were here, Pakistan delegation was also here. How did you see their delegation visit?
Frankly, we weren't bothered. I think, in all fairness, we had more important and more appointments generally than they did. So that's something we can be very pleased about. Whether it was senators and congressmen on the Hill, whether it was officials of the government, our list of appointments was far better than theirs. And I'm very pleased about that. Equally, we've seen some of them tweeting about their meetings. We've not seen the people they met saying anything very supportive or appreciative of Pakistan in public. So I can't say that they've got very much to be happy about. But listen, at the moment, we have very much got the better of the argument. Because when Pakistan says we're innocent, India is the aggressor, we have given arguments why that is not the case. When Pakistan says we're also victims of terrorism, we have pointed out where the terrorism was incubated in the first place. So I would say to you that I don't think we need to worry about these Pakistani arguments.
So just last question, you are returning India on Tuesday, and we have heard many statements coming in from your party. Do you anticipate any issue with your party when you return back?
Look, there'll be a time for internal discussions when one gets back. I'm not anticipating anything because I've not been told anything directly. All I'm seeing is in the media, and some of it is speculative. But on the whole, my view very much is that we are at the moment facing a situation where the country is united, and that unity was very apparent in the delegation.